All right, so you know how we all use those website builders like Wix or Squarespace?
Yeah.
Super handy
Yeah.
for getting something up and running quickly. But today, we're going to go a little deeper and
Okay.
talk an Elementor Pro, and specifically this recent update. That, like, on the surface, seems kind of small, but has some big implications.
Yeah, that's right. Elementor Pro 3.25.0 just came out last week, actually. And it's got this new feature called Anchor Offset. And honestly, it's all about the tiny details
Yeah.
that can really make or break.
A website?
Anchor Offset, I'll be honest, when I
Mhm.
first saw that in the release notes, I was like, huh, interesting. But how much of a difference can a few pixels really make?
Yeah.
But then I dug in a bit
Yeah.
and realized this is about way more than just aesthetic.
Exactly. It's a great example of how, like, a seemingly small tweak can have this, like, ripple effect across the whole user experience.
Mhm.
Think about it. When you're on a website and you click a link
Huh?
to go to a specific section, you expect to land right there, right?
Yeah. You don't want to be like scrolling up or down, awkwardly searching for the content.
Oh my gosh, I've been there so many times. It's like trying to find a passage in a book
Yeah,
and you end up flipping back and forth, totally losing your train of thought. So frustrating.
exactly. That's the problem Anchor Offset solves. It gives designers like pixel-perfect control over where the page lands after you click that link.
Okay.
So it's smooth transition.
Yeah.
No more clunky scrolling. No more content hiding behind headers.
Okay. That makes sense. But I'm a visual person. Give me an analogy, something my brain can really grab onto.
Okay, picture an elevator. You press the button for the 10th floor. You expect it to stop level with the floor.
Of course.
You wouldn't want to step up or down awkwardly just to get out.
No, that'd be a terribly designed elevator.
Exactly. Anchor Offset does that for your website. So when someone clicks a link to, say, your pricing page, they land exactly there. No adjustments needed. It's all about creating that smooth journey for your website visitors.
Okay, I get it. The elevator analogy, that helps. I can see how that makes a website feel more polished, more professional. But let's get real for a second. Why should I care? I mean, I'm not building websites from scratch. What's the impact for me just browsing the web?
That's a great question. And this is where it gets really interesting. You might not be coding websites,
Yeah.
but you're definitely interacting with them every day. And all those little details, like how smoothly you navigate, they actually make a difference in your overall impression of a website.
You're saying even if I don't know Anchor Offset is being used, it's still affecting how I feel about a website.
Absolutely. Think about it. You land on a site and immediately feel comfortable. The navigation makes sense. Information's easy to find. You just flow from one section to the next. Chances are those designers were thinking about stuff like Anchor Offset.
So it's like walking into a well-organized store
Yes.
versus like a cluttered mess.
Exactly.
Where you can't find anything.
And just like you'd leave that cluttered store frustrated, a poorly designed website can send people running.
Okay, I'm seeing the bigger picture now. It's not just about pixels. It's about creating a good experience.
Exactly. And that's something every website owner should care about, every content creator, even casual browsers.
So how does this actually work in Elementor? Is it complicated to set up?
Not at all. That's part of what makes Elementor so popular. It's user-friendly. Even if you're not a coder, you can easily adjust those Anchor Offset settings for any section, any widget on your page.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like a little dial where you fine-tune the landing position. You just use a numerical value, usually in pixels.
Okay. So let's say I want someone to click the Read More button on my homepage and land right at the first paragraph of my blog post, not like halfway through a sentence.
Perfect example. You'd go to the settings for that blog post section in Elementor and adjust the Anchor Offset until it's perfect.
And Elementor lets you preview it, right? So you see how it looks before publishing.
Exactly. No guesswork.
Awesome.
You have total control to ensure your visitors have the smoothest experience possible.
Okay, I'm getting the technical side, but I like to see things in action. Can we walk through some real-world examples? How does this actually play out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start with single-page websites. Those are super popular now. Imagine you've got all your content, services, about us, testimonials, contact form, all on one long page.
Yeah, I see those all the time.
With Anchor Offset, you can make sure
Absolutely.
that when someone clicks contact, they land precisely at the top of the form.
Okay.
No need to scroll around hunting for it.
Makes sense. It's about making it easy for them.
Exactly.
What about something like a blog article, especially long ones, with lots of images or maybe a recipe at the bottom?
Oh yeah, that's a great one. That's where Anchor Offset can really shine. Say you've got that amazing recipe
Yeah.
tucked away at the end of your post, but when people click jump to recipe, it lands them like halfway down the ingredients list
Ugh.
because the footer's in the way.
Ugh, the worst.
Right.
You just want to see the recipe.
Exactly. Anchor Offset fixes that. Just a tiny adjustment. So they land with the whole recipe in view, ready to start cooking.
Okay, I'm sold. Anchor Offset is powerful. It's making me rethink how I experience websites.
And that's just the start. What's fascinating to me is how this update ties into the bigger picture of web design.
Yeah.
Elementor isn't just throwing in random features. They're focused on empowering creators, even those without coding skills, to build websites that put the visitor first.
Makes sense. It's about recognizing the user is king.
Exactly. And this update is just one piece of that. They've been rolling out lots of other cool updates, all aimed at improving the user experience.
We won't get into those now, but maybe something for our listeners to explore.
Yeah, definitely.
But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, okay, so we've been geeking out about Anchor Offset and how it can make websites like smoother than a freshly paved highway. But where does this fit into the bigger picture of web design? Is this a brand new concept or part of a larger trend?
Definitely part of a trend, a really important one. You know, back in the day, websites were often like these clunky, confusing places, almost like a badge of honor. To have a website only tech-savvy people could figure out.
Oh, I remember those days. Like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded.
Yeah.
And if you click the wrong link, bam, lost in cyberspace.
Exactly. But luckily, things have changed. As the web became more mainstream, the focus shifted to making things more user-friendly.
Makes sense. The more people use something, the easier it has to be.
Right.
No one wants to need a computer science degree just to find a recipe online.
Exactly. And that's where tools like Elementor come in. They empower anyone, regardless of their tech skills, to build professional websites that prioritize the user.
And Anchor Offset is a perfect example of that. It's small, but it solves a big problem.
Absolutely. It's about sweating the small stuff.
Yeah.
Those little things that add up to a seamless experience.
It's like the difference between walking into a well-designed store and a poorly designed one.
Exactly.
In a good store, the layout makes sense, signage is clear, you can find what you need. But in a bad store, you're bumping into stuff, getting lost.
Right. And just like you'd leave that bad store frustrated, a bad website does the same thing. A well-designed website with thoughtful features makes people feel welcome.
Makes them want to stick around.
Exactly.
So we've talked about how this benefits website creators. But what about me? Just browsing the web. How can I apply this to my own experience?
Great question. It leads to a crucial point. We all have a role to play.
You're saying I have powers beyond finding the best memes?
Maybe not superpowers, but definitely influence. As users, we have power. We choose what websites we support.
By clicking on them.
Right. We're voting with our clicks by choosing well-designed sites. We're saying those things matter.
So it's not just passive anymore. We have to be more aware of the design, how it affects us.
Exactly.
Think about it. When you land on a clunky site, what do?
Stick around or jump ship.
Honestly, I usually bounce. Life's too short for bad websites.
And that's the point. By being mindful, by supporting good websites, we push for a better web for everyone.
So next time I'm browsing, I should pay attention. How's the navigation? Can I find what I need?
Yes.
Does the design make me want to stay or run away?
And if you find a site that delights you, take a moment. Appreciate the effort. Yeah. Maybe even reach out to the creators.
Tell them what you loved.
That positive feedback means a lot.
It's like saying, keep up the good work.
Exactly.
It's not just about appreciating good design, though. It's about applying these principles ourselves.
Yeah.
Whether you're building a website or writing a social media post, even an email.
Think about the recipient.
Put yourself in their shoes.
What are they trying to do? How can you make it easy for them? It's not about being a tech whiz.
It's about empathy. Making an effort to create good experiences.
Like Elementor does with Anchor Offset.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into Elementor and the power of small details, we want to leave you with this.
User experience matters.
You know, it's funny how we take good web design for granted.
Yeah.
When a website works well, we don't even think about it.
Right. It just works.
It's only when things go wrong, when we hit a snag or get frustrated, that we realize, oh, someone didn't think this through.
Yeah, it's like listening to a catchy song.
Okay.
When it's all in harmony, the melody, the rhythm, the lyrics, you just get lost in the music.
Yeah.
But if the beat's off or the lyrics make no sense, it pulls you out of the moment.
Totally ruins it.
And just like with music, there's an art to creating a website that flows.
It's about understanding how people interact online, anticipating their needs, guiding them.
Okay, so we've explored the why behind Anchor Offset
Yeah.
and its impact. But for our listeners thinking, okay, how do I apply this? What are the takeaways?
Well, first,
Yeah.
pay attention.
Become aware.
Be a conscious consumer.
Don't just passively browse
Get discerning.
when you're on a website.
Yeah.
Notice how it makes you feel.
Yeah. Is it easy to navigate?
Can you find what you need?
Does the design help you understand the content?
If you're fighting the menu or can't find basic info, that's a bad sign.
It's like the website saying, we don't care about your time.
Harsh, but sometimes true.
And on the flip side, when you find a website that's great, a site that feels intuitive, engaging, take a second.
Appreciate the effort.
Think about all the little things they did right.
That went into making it work so well.
And you know what? If you're really impressed, send the creators a note.
Tell them what you loved.
That positive feedback can make a big difference.
It encourages people to keep making the web better.
Exactly. But it's not just about appreciating good design.
Okay.
It's about using these ideas ourselves.
Whether it's your own website,
Social media posts,
Yeah.
even emails.
think about the other person.
Put yourself in their shoes.
What are they trying to do? How can you make it easier?
It's not about being a tech expert. It's about empathy.
Exactly.
Making that effort to create good experiences.
Just like Elementor with Anchor Offset.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into web design and the power of details, we'll leave you with this.
User experience matters.
It shapes how we interact online,
How we consume information.
how we connect with each other.
By being mindful, we can create a better online world.
A world where websites don't make us want to scream.
Exactly.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
And we'll be here with you.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.